Well, folks, we got an exciting new product launch this evening that we've been waiting on for a long, long time. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the Row by Row Garden Show. Well, I'm Greg.
I'm Sheila.
Thank you for joining us. If you haven't joined us before, we are a gardening show located here in South Georgia. We own a company called Hosstools, which sells seeds, garden supplies, and famous garden tools all over the country. And we like to do a gardening show every week where we help you grow your own food. And it's all about helping you with everything you need, plus a little information to top it off. And we love to talk all things gardening with peppering a little few other things in there.
Yeah.
Like,
and I hadn't cooked in the last couple of weeks.
you ain't cooked, no. We
Yeah.
like to cook a little bit too. So thank you for joining us. So this week we had something kind of different happen around here.
We have a new employee.
A new employee. We have a new addition to the homestead. How about that? New addition to the homestead. This last Saturday, we had some visitors from Alabama. Perry Hill Homestead gifted us a pig, and we had a good Saturday.
It was quite interesting.
It was quite
We'll throw up
interesting.
some pictures here of the pig. They brought him in a dog kennel,
Yep.
and they were worried about him getting out, and
Yeah, I think they had a little episode
they
on it.
had a little episode getting here.
And so we was a little worried about how wild the pig was, but he got here and we had the pen just about ready, so everything worked out good. The pig actually calmed down a lot.
Yeah, it hasn't escaped
Right.
yet.
So the last pigs we raised here on the homestead were coonies. And they didn't turn out just like we wanted to. And I'm not saying that was the fault of the breed. I think those pigs was too fat when we got them, and
Yeah.
they was too lardy, that's a word, too
We
lardy
just
for
made
them.
them more lardy.
And we made them more lardy. But we've got a different, this year, this time, this is a cross between a Berkshire and a Manganese. Did I say that right?
Right.
So it's a lard, Manganese is a lard type hog, and Berkshire, is known for its great meat quality there. So this is a cross from that. We got high hopes to where this pig's gonna turn out. Eric promised us that this was a great breed, and they'd been working with it for a while, and it's turned out a lot of good bacon. We love bacon.
Yeah. So let's show Eric and what he said about the pig.
The pig we brought them is a Mangalitsa Berkshire cross. But the Mangalitsa pig has the ability to turn, I think it's vitamin K or vitamin D from the
vitamin A too.
from the sun, and they store it in their fat. And that way, when you consume it, you get that good vitamin. And it's the highest producer of vitamin K, I think, other than cod liver oil. I think I'm telling that right. So it's a really healthy fat.
How old is this pig?
This pig was born
6 months.
It's November 4th is when it was born.
December 4th, January the 4th, February the 4th. It's almost 3 months old.
Yeah.
Really young.
It's Mangalitsa fat is high in omega-3 and
Yeah.
6 fatty acids, and it's a natural antioxidant.
So it's really healthy fat for you to eat.
So Eric and them's been working with this cross here for a while, and if you think about it, you don't want a hog that's too lean. We like to actually get some lard off of it because we use lard in our cooking, and we love bacon, so we think this is going to be ideal. Now this Manganese, these things are beautiful. They're strictly a lard hog, but they have this curly hair on them, and them things are nice. But doing that crosser, I think it's going to be the thing there. But so thank you, Perry Hill.
Yeah. Go check them out. Perry Hill Farms.
Yep, over in Alabama.
In Alabama. And Maggie likes.
She's warming up. Maggie the
is?
dog is warming up to the
Yeah.
pig, but it's took a little bit, yeah.
And what's this pig's name?
You're going to come up with that. Actually, we've already come up with it,
I
but I
know.
can't say it.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember, I just can't say it.
Okay.
You?
I'll let y'all guess.
It's
Well, I
a
meant to-
Spanish word.
Yeah, I meant to write it down.
Yeah, anyway, we'll have to check it. I'm having trouble with it too. We may have to rename the pig an English word. So, anyway,
I was going to call him Homer after my granddaddy.
Yeah.
Because my granddaddy raised.
He raised pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of pigs around here, but we do maybe 1 or 2 a year. We'll fatten one up, something like that.
Oh, we've had some wild ones.
We've had some wild
Yeah.
ones. We caught a wild one time, in fact, and it was okay.
And then Dalton got us one from down the road.
Yeah, we killed a wild hog down the road, so yeah, we
Yeah.
get one every now and then. Our freezer's full. Maybe by the time this one's ready to go to bacon land, we'll have room in our freezer. But we've stocked up on a lot of food here of late, and we're in pretty good shape. We don't have to go to the grocery store for a long, long time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into what we have coming out
This week.
this week.
We've talked about it. We've showed pictures of it. It's finally here.
Yeah, so what happened was, over the years, we have noticed that there's been people ask us that wanted to start gardening, but they didn't have the wherewithal to make it happen. They wanted to put in a small garden. This has happened numerous times over the last few years. I can remember one time specifically, a guy's daughter was really interested in gardening, but they didn't have the way to do it. They was limited on their time and resources. And I kept thinking, man, there's got to be a way people can get entry level in the garden for just a small garden. So we was at Cultivate as a show back in Ohio in July, and we run across the guy from DeWitt. If you've ever seen the DeWitt woven fabric, they had a booth there, and we was over talking to Tony, which is the sales manager for DeWitt, and we got to talking about. I said, "Man, this is what we need to do, Tony." And I told Tony, and Tony thought it was a great idea, and he'd already been working on the project a little bit. So working together with Tony, we were able to develop, and this took several months, but we was able to develop a mat system with this woven fabric so that people are able to get into gardening without much work or much expense or much whatever. It allows somebody to start gardening pretty quick and simple. Now, this is not going to be for the person that loves to grow a quarter of an acre garden like I do. This is not necessarily for that person, but this is for the person that maybe got a child that they want to learn how to start gardening. They can put this in. It's wonderful for that. Or somebody that don't have much room, they can put it in, and they don't have any equipment. So it's perfect for that. We've got an employee here at Hoss that lives in a subdivision. She's got a very small yard. And she said this was perfect for her. So let's get into what we got here. This is called the Lazy Garden Kit, or the Lazy Garden Mat. We sell these things in two different ways. We actually sell just the mat, or we sell the mat with the irrigation. Yeah, we sell the mat with the irrigation system there. And we have two different sizes. So let's move around here and show you. All right, so we was able to get one a few months ago here, and we got testing it in our garden and everything, because we had to come up with the irrigation system. And this is what it is right here. It is a large mat that already has the holes and the slits cut into it. So it is a predetermined garden that you simply can go carry out there, roll out, pin down, and it's already got everything cut into it, and you just start planting
So
stuff.
the cuts
into it.
are not going to ravel.
The cuts are not going to ravel because they're heat cut, and that was really, really important to us. I mean, they have some of these fabrics out there that you have to go in there and cut the holes in,
And burn the holes.
burn the holes in and all that. And we wanted it so it's simple, so they was already there. So these things have slits for things such as radishes, carrots, and things like that. Then they have X's such as transplants or tomatoes and peppers, or as you see there, we got some brassicas in there. We have two different sizes. We have a 15 by 30 and a 15 by 20. And so you can buy the mat just like this right here. You roll it out there, and then you take these pins just like this, and these pins come with the mat system there, and you pin it down, and you're ready to start. Now, if you put it over grass or anything like that where you got a lot of weeds, you may want to tarp it ahead of time. If you don't have the wherewithal to work it with a tiller or whatever, you may want to tarp it, kill those weeds out, and just put this down. You're not going to have weeds grow where the mat is, but you may have weeds come up where the X's or the slits are into the fabric right there.
But it's really been minimum.
Very minimum. We've had ours out there probably 4 months, and I've grown through one crop. I'm fixing to start planting another crop in there, and we got strawberries in it. It's doing fine. Really, there's nothing you can't grow in there with the exception of things like corn.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to show them the picture? This will be on the website too.
Yeah, now this right here, is just to give you an idea of what you could do. And this is more of a winter or fall or early spring garden plot there. And you can see we just kind of have a little layout there. What is possible with this system right here. You can grow, this is the 15 by 30, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of X's. And these X's are on 2 by 2 foot spacing. So every 2 foot you've got an X there. And then you have slits down here that you can plant things like bunching onions, regular Vidalia onions, carrots, radishes, man, all kind of lettuce, things like
You've
that.
got English peas.
English peas. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of those, and there are 3 slits long-wise through there. So you could grow a lot in this 15 by 30. I've got strawberries. We grew kale. We grew carrots.
Radishes,
Man, radishes, beets, whatever we grow.
Cauliflower, broccoli.
Yeah. Collards.
Collards.
Mm-hmm.
And we still got strawberries.
Yep. Now this is the 15 by 20. This one here is a little bit smaller right here for people that need a smaller garden there. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows on this, where the X's are 2 by 2 spacing. And then down at the bottom on your slits on this right here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So you got 3 long ways just like you do in the other one, but you only have 5. Now the difference is in the length of these 2 mats. It's not in the width. The width is the same on both of them there.
So you can buy just the mats, or
Yeah, so the great thing about this is this weed mat is the pervious, water can go through it. Fertilizers can go through it, and it doesn't go through it like it does regular soil. It may sit up here on top a little bit and then kind of work its way in. So you can do overhead irrigation. If you're limited on your budget, you could do that. You could go overhead irrigation. And I forgot, we didn't even write down what the price was.
prices.
Prices on these right here, on the mats, is less than $100. And that comes with the pins. All right, so we thought about that. Well, what about if we come up with an irrigation system for this right here that's what we call plug and play? And that's what we did. And it took a little bit for us to do this, but we came up with it. Let me get this back out. In the Lazy Garden kit, you get the mat, and you get the staples, and yet you get an irrigation system that you can lay out and plug and play in there. Now the irrigation system is, I don't think you have to cut anything on the irrigation system. In fact, I'm almost positive you don't. It's already pre-cut. So you roll out your mainline tubing, and when you roll out your mainline tubing, you realize that it's got a little memory to the tubing there. So you need to take these staples here and kind of stake it out so it stays straight. And then you just simply take these little barbs with a hole punch and push them in there right where your X's are. They already pre-cut 15 foot in length. You put them in there, you stake them all down where they stay in place. You turn, you have to connect your filter regulator combo.
So it's like sort of like the small irrigation.
With the exception, everything's pre-cut. So after you do that, you flush your system out, then you go put your goof plugs in the end of your little tubing, and the tubing has emitters every 6 inches, and they put out 1 gallon per foot per minute. Yeah, I think it's per minute. I think I'm right. We may have to go back and double check me. Puts out a lot of water, more water than our drip tape does.
Yeah.
So you can put that out there, stake it in, and that's it. I mean, you're good to go. Now what I did was I took some complete organic fertilizer when I planted my plants in it, and I kind of incorporated it into the soil. You can do that, which I would probably recommend. But here's the neat thing. With this system here, you can buy a Hoss fertilizer injector. And you could inject all your fertilizer in with this drip irrigation system, and it's virtually maintenance free. You don't have to do anything at that point.
No weeding.
No, well, you got very, very little weeding. The only weeds that can come up are either where the slits are at, which is very small space, or where the X's are.
No hoeing.
No hoeing.
No cultivating.
No cultivating. Now where the slits are, they're going to be cut, and it's just like it sounds, a slit. What I did is I took these right here, because I had to use these to put my tubing down to keep them straight. But I put this in where the slits are and turned it sideways so that it opened my slit up a little bit more there. So you had a little bit more room. So you're going to have this much room right there in between there to plant your carrots and your beets and things like that. Once they come up, you can take it, turn it this way and close that down so you minimize your area there where those plants are at.
And what's the lifespan?
Oh man, I think it's going to be anywhere from 7 to 9 to 10 years probably. It's going to be a long, long time. These things are made out of high quality woven product here that's going to last a long time. Your irrigation system is going to last a long time. So let's just take...
The UV rays won't
Oh
degrade
no,
it?
shouldn't degrade it at all. So let's say that you put it down and you said, man, I got too much shade, or I wish I hadn't put it here, or I need to move it. All you got to do is pull this up. You don't have to take your irrigation system apart or nothing. Just move it out of the way, pull your mat up, move it to a different location, put it back down. Your irrigation system is already laid out there to the exact spots where your rows are, and you got it. And if you get a fertilizer injector with that, ba-boom, 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 you got everything you need. Now, I would encourage you to check your pH in your soil before you put it down there to make sure your pH is adjusted. If you do that, and you inject your fertilizer in there, I don't see how you cannot be successful with this system.
Sounds good. So talk about weed mats.
Yeah, weed mats has been used a lot in the last few years. A lot of people have used them in their gardens, in their walkways, or either they put them in their beds and they've cut the holes there and planted into them. I did strawberries like that a couple of years ago. Strawberries are notorious for needing some type of mulch to grow on. And that's the reason it works so well with this right here. But there is some drawbacks to it. You know, especially when you're putting it down in your rows, when you do have to cut it with a razor knife or a pocket knife, they can fray somewhat. And that's the reason we like this heat cut that's done on these right here, that the fraying is a minimum there. Also, they can be a little bit expensive sometimes as far as doing that. And then if you're planting out in a garden situation, or you have to take them up and move them around, and that can be a little bit cumbersome sometimes. Now the benefits from it is they keep your weeds down.
You know what was a good benefit during the Arctic blast too? Is it warmed the soil.
It did. We noticed, and we covered our plants with a frost cover, but we noticed our plants on the Lazy Garden mat did a lot better than those out there in the regular garden.
Even though we covered them up.
Yep. So it has several different benefits there. What about if you got a sloping garden area there and it washes bad? This is an ideal way to keep your ground from washing away there. You can put these mats in and it minimizes your runoff just about to nothing. So that's another good reason.
Reduces the need for herbicides.
Yeah. So in no pre-emergent herbicides, no post-emergent herbicides, so you don't need any of that right there. You could, if you wanted to, you could incorporate that complete organic in there and use some of our organic products in there. And you could do organic gardening this as well.
How would this affect your worms?
I think it would benefit them because your ground is going to stay a little bit cooler and more insulated there. The thing about them is they got to have something to eat on. So if they got organic matter underneath there to eat, I think they would be okay. That would be the only drawback. I think as far as earthworm population or microbes, I think they're going to be fine because this material is porous and it can breathe. What we run into with plastics is they can't breathe.
Okay.
This can breathe, so I think it's going to be fairly beneficial to that right there.
Sounds good.
Yep. The Lazy Garden kit, we got them on the site. We've been working on it hard all week trying
You
to
can
get
get
them
just the mat or you can get the kit
Yep.
with the irrigation.
I would recommend getting the kit as well. The problem with overhead irrigation, when you water, and I did some of this just so it will soak through, but it takes a little bit to go through there. And you wasted a little bit of water. If you use the drip irrigation system, you always got the opportunity to add a fertilizer injector there later or at the time you put it in to do that. So it's not very expensive. I didn't bring the price, but it's less than $200 for any of it. Well, that's
And
the
to
kit and the mat
last
and everything.
10 years.
Yeah. Now, this may not be for you guys out there that are like me that's got big, huge gardens. This is not going to be a system for everybody. However, it is going to be a great system for the beginner gardener, people that don't have much area to garden at, or if you got young ones that's interested in gardening, you could actually set aside part of your property out there and put their very own garden in. And even a youngster, after you help them put it in, could manage this thing pretty easy. I think a 7 or 8 year old could. If they was, I think once you help them put it in, I think they could plant and keep it going and everything. So it's a perfect situation for that. I ain't even thought about it, but it would be good for school gardens too.
It would.
4-H projects or anything where you got limited resources to be able to put a garden in. This, I think, is going to be the answer for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Check it out. Lazy Garden Kit. We got the mats and the kits with irrigation. Boy, we had a wonderful, wonderful garden submission this week from Brandon Thompson in Zone 8. Brandon sent us in some pictures of his garden. I want you to look at these peas right there. Ain't they pretty? Wow. Weed free. Nice peas there.
What kind of peas was it?
Oh,
Zipper peas.
Zipper peas.
And pink eye, purple
Yep.
hull.
And I think we see there how he kept them so clean. You see the remnants of that little double wheel hoe down there on the end? He's showing some trellising right here. And he used the same kind of trellis as we do. That's the Hortonova trellising right there with the steel post there. So he's getting ready right there. Man, I just can't get over these pictures. How nice looking garden this is. And then when the peas are blooming, ain't that pretty? Yep. You got some corn over to the side. And here, folks, is the bounty of those peas.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yep. Brandon, thank you very much. Where was Brandon from?
I can't say it.
Angler, North Carolina. Angle, North Carolina.
Angier.
Oh, GIE. I ain't got my glasses on. I thought it was A.
Zone 8.
Yep. Thank you, Brandon, for sending that in. Man, I'm getting envious.
Envious.
I'm gonna plant my peas this fall again. I had wonderful luck last year planting them in the fall. I'm gonna do that again. Speaking of peas,
What?
folks, we're gonna be a little bit short on peas this year. We got notification the other day. They cut our order back on peas and beans. We're going to get some. They prorated us out. We're not going to get what we want because there is a shortage out there again. It seems like.
But we haven't got them yet.
We ain't got them yet. And this is normal. Everybody wants to jump the gun and order the peas too early. Wait another couple of weeks or so. We hope to have them in then, but we're waiting to get the last year's crop in. Peas are one of them things we don't like to hold over a whole lot. Although we've got a few left on the website and the Germans held up good on those because we've kept them in ideal conditions. But we're waiting on last year's crop to come in.
And the Christmas lima beans, we are going to get some of those.
Few of them in, very few.
But we haven't got those yet either.
We're going to be short on a lot of them. We got some emails the other day and they cut us back.
Yeah.
A
So
lot.
be sure to sign up for the restock notification under each product. So when we do get them and they get on the website.
But the best thing to do is probably sign up for the email newsletter. If you're not signed up for our email newsletter, sign up for that and we will shoot out a blanket email when we get these peas and beans in because we got a lot of people asking about them.
Yeah. And for the Garden Spotlight under Halls University, there's a link there to send us your garden photos. And, and that could be from last year.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yep.
The old goat.
Old goat. There's an old goat figurine somewhere here on set.
I know, and I left the drawing on my desk, but I remember one of the names.
You do? Okay. So the old goat drawing's on the set here.
We'll put it up on the screen, but one of the names was Melissa G.
Melissa G, that was the winner this week.
Yeah.
Melissa G, send us your shipping address to customerserve@hosstools.com. We'll get you something sent out. If you don't know what the figurine is, the old goat figurine is somewhere here on the set. If you find it, put in the comments below, and every week we do a drawing for the old goat. All right, folks, time for you to get out there and start getting your seeds starting. Man, I got peppers going like crazy.
Gonna do tomatoes.
Gonna do tomatoes. I was lucky enough to they sent me some experimental peppers, and I got a lot of those planted. And there's a number of varieties because they hadn't been made a decision where they want to go into production yet. So I'm doing some pretty detailed pepper trials this spring, so I'm excited about that. I got some weird things I'm trialing. I got some rosemary seed I'm trialing out.
I got some white roselle seed I'm trying out. Or was it green? I think it was white.
Green, I thought.
I planted some English peas last couple of days ago, and some beets and radishes.
Yep. Kind of the benefit of this job is we get to try all these new varieties and unusual stuff, and it's really fun. That's kind of probably what I enjoy the most.
It was really fun getting my hands dirty this week.
Yep. It's February. It's time here in South Georgia. We need to be in seed starting full-on mode. So, folks, get off that couch, get everything together, and get outside and get dirty. Thank you for joining us.